Well, hello and welcome to the Metabolic Alchemist. I'm Carly Gallagher, and today we're diving into something that might sound like science fiction, but is actually cutting edge science called quantum entanglement and how it's revolutionizing the way that we heal. Now, just a few months ago, I was guided to this amazing work of Dr. Bradley Nelson and his emotion and body code theory. Well, in practice, really. And I have to tell you, it's been an absolute game changer for me. For over a decade, I've been working more intuitively with energy healing and helping really myself on a personal level transform my health. But I was kind of fumbling around with my own intuition and getting results, but never really quite understanding how it all kind of worked. I just trusted that it was divinely guided. Then something, maybe divine intervention, guided me to Dr. Nelson's work. And suddenly I have now this practical, methodical tool, and it makes so much sense to me. And it's been a real game changer in my own life, not only for my own personal health gains, but my animals and also my patients as well. So it's like I finally found the instruction manual for something I've been doing on my own for the last 10 years. But here's what's fascinated me the most. This isn't just about releasing emotions or balancing energy. What Dr. Nelson has discovered taps into the very fabric of reality, quantum physics, consciousness, and how your subconscious mind is literally programming your metabolism, your health, and your entire biological experience. Now, I know quantum entanglement sounds intimidating. Trust me, it made my brain hurt at first too. And I had to listen to it over and over again. But stick with me here because I'm going to try and break it down. And once you understand this, you'll never look at your body or your health and your healing potential the same way again. I promise you. Today, we're going to go beyond calories, beyond genetics, beyond everything you've been told about why your body works the way it does. We're going to explore how your subconscious mind, that powerful 95% of your processing capacity that you're not even aware of, is running the real show. And more importantly, how you can finally take back control. So, let's go, ladies. We're going to go on a journey from the quantum nature of reality to practical tools that can help transform your life. And it all starts with understanding what are we really? What are we really, Carly? Here's the quantum truth, ladies. You are not what you appear to be. Take a look at your hand. It appears solid, doesn't it? But here's the truth that will shift everything for you. It'll blow your mind. At the most fundamental level of reality, we are 99.9999999% empty space. Yes, your hand is empty space. If you could remove all of the empty space from around the atoms in your hand, it will become so small you'd need a microscope to see it. You're not a solid being having a spiritual experience. You are consciousness organizing vast fields of space into the temporary appearance of a physical body. I know. It's crazy, right? Stick with me, guys, right? So, quantum physics revealed something that changed everything. It was called the observer effect. Now, the observer affects the observed. Let me break down one of the most mind-bending discoveries of the history of science and what it means for your ability to heal and transform your life. The double slit experiment was conducted by scientists, and they were shooting tiny particles of light, photons, through two slits in a barrier, like a screen, right? And here's what happened. When no one was watching, the photons behaved like little waves going through both the slits at the same time. And they created this pattern, a little bit like ripples on a pond. Now, when the scientists observed what they were doing, which slit the photon was going through, suddenly these photons started behaving like particles going through only one slit. And then that wave pattern disappeared. So the act of observation literally changed the behavior of reality at its most fundamental level. The photon suddenly somehow knew, I'm being watched. I'm going to act differently. I don't know why. But think of it this way. Before you observe something, it exists in a state of infinite possibilities. What quantum physicists call superposition. Okay, the moment you focus your consciousness on it, you collapse all of those infinite possibilities into just one reality, one path. It's like having a coin that's spinning in the air. While it's spinning, it's neither heads nor tails, it's neither both. It is just spinning. And then your observation of it makes it either land on head or tails. But here's the crucial part. What you expect to see influences what you actually observe. So if you expect to see the particle behaving, you're more likely to collapse the wave function into the behavior. So your expectation literally shaped the reality of what we saw. I know it gets a little bit mind-bending, but here's some real-world examples of the observer effect. This isn't just happening in laboratories. The placebo effect, for example, when patients believe they're taking a pill that will heal them, their bodies obviously respond as if they've received the real medication. So their expectation of healing literally triggers healing in their body. Or the nocebo effect, when people expect negative outcomes, like a side effect from medication, for example, they often experience those negative outcomes, those side effects, even when they're given a sugar pill, a placebo. What about sports psychology? Athletes who visualize successful performance actually improve their physical performance. Their mental expectations influence their actual physical reality. And it's used in sports science a lot. You see that. They have this. You see, your body is made up of trillions of atoms. Each one exhibits quantum properties. And when you focus your consciousness on your body with specific expectations, you're literally influencing the quantum processes of every single atom, those trillions and trillions of atoms happening within you. So let's give another practical example. A negative expectation. So you wake up and you think, I feel a cold coming on. And so you expect to get all those cold symptoms. Your consciousness begins collapsing all of the quantum possibilities in your immune system towards being sick, being ill. Your body responds by manifesting symptoms that you were expecting. What about a positive expectation? Well, same example. You notice the same early symptoms of a cold, but you think, nah, my body is strong, I'm healthy, I'm going to overcome this, it's just whatever, put it out of my mind. You expect wellness. And so your consciousness collapses all the quantum possibilities towards your body being healthy, strong, and your immune system responding effectively and overcoming whatever it was. So this isn't just wishful thinking, it's actually quantum physics in action within our own biological system, our own body. And this isn't theoretical, it's an actual foundation of reality. There's a scientist called Federico Fagan, he's an Italian, and he invented the microprocessor, the computer thing. And he spent decades actually studying quantum consciousness, and he has just come up with a completely new revolutionary theory about quantum. It occurred to him about 30 years ago when he was very depressed and forlorn, and he was pondering, life, and he had this amazing experience where light came out of his body, and in pure love he discovered that consciousness was actually all around him. Now, the traditional view that most scientists believe is what he suggests is wrong. And they think that consciousness emerges from our brain, like software running on hardware, like our brain being the hardware. In this view, you're basically a biological computer. Now, Fagin's revolutionary understanding proposes the exact opposite to this. Consciousness is fundamental to the universe itself, and your brain is like an antenna, rather. Instead, it's tapping into the universal consciousness and uses it to interact with our physical reality. Think of it this way. The old view is your brain creates consciousness, like a radio creates music. But his view, the new view, is your brain receives consciousness, like a radio receiving a broadcast. And what this means for you is, if Fagin's right and mounting evidence suggests that he is, then you're not a body that happens to be conscious. You are consciousness itself, using a body as a vehicle to experience physical reality. Mind blowing. What this means is, one, you have access to universal intelligence. Your personal consciousness can tap into the vast field of universal consciousness that knows how to heal, create, and transform reality. How exciting is that? Two, also, that your expectations can shape your biology. So, since your consciousness is using a body, your conscious expectations and subconscious beliefs literally then program how your body systems function. Three, healing isn't about fixing matter. You're not trying to repair soft tissue. You're adjusting consciousness patterns that organize energy into the appearance of a body. That's really confusing. But stick with me. We're often dismiss this power that we have. How often do you dismiss the power of words and how they affect your body, how they affect your quantum field? Some of you might remember some studies done by Dr. Masaru Emoto, and he did this amazing, stunning visual example of consciousness affecting matter when he exposed water to words like love, gratitude. The resulting ice crystals formed these beautiful symmetrical patterns, and he was able to photograph those. And he also had water exposed to words like hate and evil and, negative words. And those crystals became very ugly, distorted, chaotic. And he could represent those in photos. See, every word you speak, every thought you think, every intention you hold is literally restructuring your quantum field that appears as your body. You're restructuring your body based on all of those things. Let me give you an example. If someone tells you as a child, oh, you're just like your sick grandmother, you'll probably get heart disease because she died of heart disease. Like, those words don't necessarily just hurt your feelings. They are literally programming your subconscious mind with the expectation that literally ends up influencing how your quantum field, your body, organizes itself. Those words therefore become the blueprint for illness. Now, Dr. Bruce Lipton is another fascinating scientist who discovered that the hidden power within is around reprogramming this subconscious. And what his research revealed was that our genes don't control our biology. Our perceptions and our beliefs do. So let me say that again for everyone who thinks that they will get passed down heart disease from their grandparents. Our genes don't control our biology. Our perceptions and beliefs do. So we're not passing down cancer through our genes. We're programming it into our subconscious. And he suggests that your mind operates on these two levels. Your thinking, conscious mind, operates 5% of your day to day. And the small part of you that's listening right now, setting intentions, making decisions, it's processing at about 40 bits per second. But your subconscious is really 95% of your day-to-day, and that vast database is running your body, storing your programs, your habits, your learnt behaviors, and it processes at over 40 million bits of information per second. So this subconscious is like a tape recorder that has programmed primarily everything it's exposed to in the first 7 years of your life, when your brain was in a highly receptive theta state. Whenever you learnt during those years about health, love, money, self-worth, family patterns, it essentially became the automatic blueprint for running your life. Here's the crucial connection. Whilst your conscious thinking mind might expect health, if your subconscious mind, the 95% part, is programmed with illness patterns from childhood experiences, inherited trauma, repeated negative messaging, then the subconscious program will overrun and win in the observation battle. So your subconscious, therefore, is operating the observer effect on our body. So it's collapsing possibilities towards either through positive expectations towards health or collapsing possibilities towards illness through negative expectations. So when I was learning Dr. Bradley Nielsen's emotion code, what was really fascinating was when you experience overwhelming emotions, especially as a child, that emotion or energy can become literally trapped in your body's quantum field. And these emotions are like balls of distorted energy that create imbalances in your system. But it goes even deeper. He discovered that we can also inherit these trapped emotions from our ancestors. So getting passed down through conception to you, to your children, and on and on and on. And imagine your great-great-grandmother experienced profound grief or terror during the war. And if that emotion became trapped in her body, it could be passed down through the family line, affecting you today, even though you were never actually exposed to that trauma in the first place. Let me give you an example that Dr. Nelson discussed. He was working with a woman who had these chronic headaches for years, and through muscle testing, which is how you tap into the subconscious, he discovered a trapped emotion of terror that she had inherited from her great-great-grandfather who had a mining accident. And when they released this inherited emotion, her headaches disappeared all of a sudden. And this is why some people seem to carry these emotional patterns that you can see represented in family lines, like depression, anxiety, anger, fear, that don't seem to really match up with their own life expectations or their life experiences. They're not congruent. They're literally just carrying this inherited energetic, unresolved trauma. So what I learned and what I studied when I studied yoga was that we have these layers of our quantum being. And ancient yoga and Ayurvedic traditions understood something that really modern science is now just now rediscovering that you have these multiple layers of existence, what they call the subtle bodies. And these aren't separate bodies, they're just different vibrational layers of your quantum field. The first layer is our physical layer, the most densest vibrational pattern that appears as our physical body. And then outside of that, we have our energetic layer, and this is the life force, the biofield, the aura, the chakras, your meridian systems. Outside of that, we have our emotional, mental layer, and this is where our thoughts, our beliefs, our trapped emotions can create patterns and distortions. Then we have our wisdom layer, your intuitive intelligence, and connection to higher consciousness. Your bliss layer, which is your connection to universal consciousness and infinite possibilities. So the amazing part of these subtle bodies is that each layer interpenetrates and influences all others. So therefore, we really, if you're thinking holistically, you need to be thinking about all these layers. A trapped emotion in layer 3 will manifest in layer 2, and you'll get symptoms in layer 1 in your physical body. And the beauty is we have a holistic solution. We can work across all these layers in this truly holistic approach. And it isn't about choosing, therefore, between physical medicine or energy healing. It's about recognizing that we have a complete healing opportunity going across all the layers. The physical layer, so nutrition, exercise, herbal medicine, vitamins, the stuff that we always just rely on, the physical element. But why I love yoga is that we can start to move the energetic layer, balancing our chakras, clearing our meridians, releasing trapped emotions. And this can be done through yoga, meditation, working with someone who can help release these, like I can. And what about your emotional layers, identifying and reprogramming those limiting beliefs, inherited patterns? Which can also be done with somebody who's skilled in working with this. Working with your wisdom layer, using that innate healing ability that we all have, and then our bliss layer, aligning that with the true potential and the infinite healing of that quantum field. So I offer to you all the opportunity to heal through quantum healing. And if you're so inclined, you can jump into this and do the work for yourself, or you can tap in with somebody who has this ability to work on your subconscious. Now, here's how you can work with all of these layers. First, we want to start working with the subconscious programming element. And how we do this is we use muscle testing or sway testing or another device to tap into your subconscious and ask, okay, well, what's truly trapped? Are there any emotions or inherited patterns here that we need clearing? Your subconscious knows exactly what is blocking your body, what is imbalanced, and how it needs to be moved in order to heal. And then when you release these trapped emotions from your lifetime or inherited patterns from your ancestral lifetime, then you have the ability to then clear the subconscious and use new conscious intention to direct your quantum field, your body, into healing. And we can do that through intention setting. So instead of just hoping for a good day, consciously expect it. Your expectations literally influence your quantum field of possibilities around you. Remember, we say that your intention is what's guiding your quantum field. You can visualize this. When you visualize your body healing, you're visualizing it and using the observer effect to collapse all those quantum possibilities towards health. Words as quantum commands. So every word you speak is an observation that influences your reality. So instead of saying I'm getting sick, we can say I am incredibly healthy. I am, manifesting by saying those programs have a different possibility. And then we can use our energetic practices like yoga to move chakras, breath work to direct life force, and meditation to access that deeper layer of consciousness and align with universal intelligence. And don't forget that we can maintain all of this quantum coherence if we live from a place of love. We speak the words of healing. We think the thoughts of gratitude. And remember that every moment you're either programming your health or manifesting a disease into your quantum field through your consciousness and subconscious observations. So, it's heavy, I know, but understanding this complete picture means recognizing that you have this incredible power to transform your health and your life. You're not a victim of your genes, your family history, or even your circumstances. You are consciousness itself. So remember, every belief you hold is directing how your universal consciousness expresses itself through your body. Every observation you make is collapsing infinite possibilities into an experienced reality. So true healing isn't about fixing a broken body, a broken physical body. It's about removing the blocks that prevent your quantum consciousness from expressing true health through your system. That was really heavy. So your next steps, everyone, is begin by asking your body what it actually needs most. Learn, explore muscle testing to interpret and identify those trapped emotions and subconscious programming, or find somebody who can help you with this. Practice conscious quantum observation by expecting health and speaking words of love and gratitude to your cells. And remember that healing happens when all the layers of your being are aligned with your conscious and subconscious minds are both observing reality from a place of health, love, and infinite possibilities. You are not separate from the quantum field of infinite possibilities. You are that field expressing itself as your unique, beautiful, temporary human experience. And when you understand this truth and you learn to consciously direct your observations across all those subtle layers of your body, healing becomes not something you hope for, but something you consciously manifest moment by moment. Thanks for sticking with me on this one, guys. Quantum entanglement, Well, I'm Carly Gallagher, the Metabolic Alchemist, and until next time, the most sophisticated healing technology ever created isn't in a laboratory. No, it's the integration of your consciousness working harmoniously across all those subtle layers of your quantum being. And that's a wrap. Phew. If something clicked for you today, I've got all the links to my favourite products, supplements, and exactly where to buy them waiting for you in the show notes. No hunting required. Want more personalised support? I totally get it. This journey can be overwhelming when you're doing it all on your own. Whether you're ready to jump into my one-on-one coaching programs or test it out first in my online metabolic flash course, I've got your back. Just head to the show notes for the links to those pages or my website, inner-alchemy.com.au, and let's turn those frustrating symptoms into your comeback story. Because honestly, the best version of you isn't in your past. She's waiting on the other side of these new rules. Until next time, remember, work smarter, not harder. Thanks for sticking around. I'll see you in the next episode.